Hi, this is Dr. Che. This is a continuation on reports that I wanted to handle to a general public in the United States who has civic initiative to make change, and also to politicians. I saw announcements of Miss Culp and other things. Remember two things: an office, any office and any post, do not ask as prerequisite to have family and marry or have children, because in absence of immediate danger in the area, sex normally should impede any other activity and impede also pursuit of appreciation of others. Because if I seek appreciation of another man, of a spouse, and based on that I decide if I love that person or not, I may as well, loving that other person, pursue that other person. It makes no sense whatsoever. And the same with appreciation with the children of another man. So don't make those persons again applying for marriage or ask for marriage to apply for office, men or women. That is another thing. In Portland, Oregon, in other states also, I've tried DMV, Department of Motor and Vehicles. There's a loop, and now I'm going to explain it. That loop consists of having prerequisite of having an address to obtain an identification card. While to have an address, the leasing offices require, the same as land purchases, require identification cards. So one excludes the other, and the first one excludes the other. It ends in Portland, Oregon, in Goose Hollow, best area, in 20 or 30 tents on streets of persons who cannot have housing, not because there's something wrong with them. Forget about mental illness. Forget about hoboship as choice. It is loop, administrative loop, that needs to be solved by politicians and lawyers. And start working or fire those persons, and do not complain later on police brutality if you don't do that. Or civil actions and protests. They do not solve anything, it is true, but at the same time, in absence of initiative and petitions, assembly to form unions, persons sit helpless and are unable to register also own business. My business, I registered, it was ignored afterwards. Fee returned after 2 months to exhaust funds, and then to not to purchase a payment for services. And then what I do as work, which I have to do because it concerns me immediately too, is ignored because you kind of stupidly ask, like for a new dress for a bride, for something to make it happen that is waste of life and time for millions of persons. Do I want to have my work review? If persons are dying, if I make a spelling mistake or not, or where I'm recording, is irrelevant. Use that information now and make a change so that I and all others, yourself included, can live and can ameliorate living conditions. Another loop, it includes access to bank account. Most things are online when it comes to charges. Charges for identity cards, charges for immigration cards. When wallet is stolen, it is burden of responsibility on police. I cannot pay it, police should pay it because it was robbery and theft, and I did not obtain a report of theft. And it should be, if not waived, and police should be able to do so. If not, social work should be able to do so. If not, that is impediment to pursue payment for labor. And in banks, there is requirement, while passport functions as a document to change countries, of two documents. So, for example, any person who has wallet stolen cannot have two documents to open or sustain bank account, with which that person also, it is a loop, has to pay for identity card, because in person immigration offices and DMV do not most of the time, the same as work offices, perform or provide any services unless a fee is placed online. As you can see, bank account that asks for the second identity card cannot be opened or sustained, while identity card requires bank account to pay for that identity card. It's not my problem. It is my problem and every single person in the United States, in all 50 states. So it has to change. Now, working office, all employment offices, public and private ones, they do not form, like I said, a contest for the prettiest or best worker dog with a hero poster afterwards. If there is no job poll in which a person can walk in, like it happened to me once in one intermediary, granted the person does not review education at all or use my capacity to assist that company, which creates a problem and is disadvantages to persons in that company who's imperfect foods. However, person uses their means to hire, and so that needs to be public also job office in which not only as social work you provide persons with possibility to consult and to open own business if person has business plan and business idea and there is demand for it, like in my case it is verified. I verified it with a lawyer in Texas. But also if there is demand on jobs and persons have simple set of skills and mastery in a given trade or a given field, a person can actually walk into the office and immediately the day after, like it was in Portland, initiate employment and obtain payment so that person has enough money to pursue place and food and not rely on scraps, because that is the current reality. That is for reports for now, apart from Palm Desert, in which I was during preparation for a morning course in therapeutic Qigong. I'm a physician, ladies and gentlemen, so therapeutic Qigong license is of my interest, energy expert. I will explain in DSM 666 developmental disorders why it is that knowing energy also in context of sexual desire between two persons and also then in a given area is of interest to, for instance, reform and use better genetic counseling for couples to have children, etc. To have also children happy and loved and not frustrated and restricted food, for instance, because persons do not have sex or settled to work as prerequisite of distorted conservative regime, excuse me. The idea here is that the persons over there, and it is in many cases, mistake rivaling sexually for a given partner, because that seems to be the same as modeling, some sort of a mistake. The reviling is who loves you the most from who you love the most out of all persons. That is all the reviling. It's much less threatening than you think. Work is to benefit, because all of us, we are unique in our skills, in the spirit of the Constitution of the United States and founders. The idea is that me finishing with Qigong license is beneficial as opposed to being pushed on social services. And I was forced there in Palm Desert and then in Bismarck when I tried to rent an apartment to rely on social services. Despite having close to $100,000, I was called destitute and insisted on not accessing my funds, but to rely on social services immediate attention to pursue human rights lawyer or advocate and lawyer. In Polish it's a mistake, in the United States it's not. One person, advocacy means speaking out on behalf of a group and self included. And in Europe, lawyer is an advocate is the same. In the United States it's not. It's a person who speaks out. And a lawyer is the one who is licensed to represent and take cases. In absence of lawyers, because that is the case, we all have right to file forms. Like I've informed Jason, I believe that was hello Jason, prejudiced by his employer, which there are many, and there are no unions doing what he's doing after a back injury. What I am trying to explain here is that the social services is to empower persons and let go, not present for 20 years someone as hobo because somebody else is jealous of somebody labeled as most attractive and not married, and tries to aspire or deserve love of one person, male or female, while never pursuing that relationship in some sort of a mind delusion. And that is what happened. So I went to the bathroom, my wallet with all of my documents, after paying $600 for manuals and prepayment for that course, to have that license to provide those services and be paid. I come back, the wallet was not there. Two policemen sitting drinking coffee started yelling at me, go to social services immediately, because that is all you can do. And instead of pursuing that license, I lost the money, I lost the books with towed, paid for, towing, towed, not fixed because the person refused to fix car, and 12 different mechanics refused to fix it because post fire situation, pushed to pay between $200 and $800 for a hotel, and the course never happened. So it means I never became empowered to earn in the profession, in energy, additional skill and additional income. I right now do not earn for that, for instance. This is for free, but I offer, you see. You can hire me. And so I did not get that chance, while persons would pursue a statute of degrading or demeaning to me, unreal then, actively pushing social services instead of license to practice. And the same was with my medical license. Now I'm gonna pursue honorable license for gifted persons because I have enough work to present, enough in content, enough in significance to pursue such. By affiliation only in universities and providing lectures as a private provider as opposed to through the system, because I'm fed up, but I want to be paid for it because I was robbed. Post-divorce, divorce does not qualify me to work, rather the opposite, as I've explained already. This is the same is true for everybody. And so social work is not competing because a police or a male or female appears more appealing or attractive or competent to a potential partner, and it seems like there is no work and we compete while persons are starving really and dying on streets for something, and nothing is done. And like I said, like cleaning toys after a child is a job offer and money, or changing font in an article that in content, in fact, in omission kills. The social services and that police work consisted of demeaning me, to present as untrue my status, to not to use me and present to persons as credible, and provide services as energy expert and human rights and patient advocate. And so that was wrong. And see, then I was refused legal representation to sue on individual basis, not the whole police station, but to two officers and at the DMV, to actually have that paid and have already back my documents. And till now, all officers are incompetent, no matter what they have done, including the one that saved me, refusing in DMV office, issuing me as a second identity card that I need, the American one, to pursue household long term as opposed to feeding hotels. Exhaustion of funds. It's wrong. And I am not the only one. There are millions like that. So like I said, if you are like that, if you are a politician, if you are Miss Culp, if you are whoever it is that you're running for the office, solve it now, before the office. And to close this video, the same is for Oregon. Gift cards from officer that was Jerkman helped me actually to obtain salary and have household. And despite his greatest efforts, he did his best. The DMV refused me that identity card. So I had to, and Polish Republic Embassy refused me non-person issuing of stolen passport. It's wrong. Traveling in a requirement to quit job is a crime. You have to know that also in multinational country you have to oppose and face persons that are from different countries, embassies, and face those officials and defend the person of that origins as if an American or resident against that country. make differentiation, it is important. And to close it, I would like to add that the continuity of office. So for instance, Donald Trump planned on having a free of non-stop perpetual psychotropic medication society and non-stop drugs as remediation instead of healthy diet and healthy lifestyle and work that is gratifying and good families. Continue that, because it is also, if Democrats win, the issue and interest of all of Democrats the same way.